looking for an excuse not to give a part 2. I was like, well, if no one asked for a part 2, why give it? I guess I found out why. While enjoying this beautiful view and talking to my partner, I have to tell my story. Because I'm realizing it's not to help just me. It's not to help even like a random girl across the country that I thought one day it could help the other members of my family. The ones who tried to survive them got away. The ones who couldn't survive them didn't get away. And the ones who just simply went numb and joined them. Check out part 1 for the origin. But pretty much it was just really, really toxic relatives. My dad was one of 13, and like, I don't know all of them, but a good 5 or 6 that I knew growing up were just toxic. They believed that they were born again in Christ and would do everything they can to damn your soul to hell. They really didn't seem happy if you were trying to live a healthy life. They would just come at you even harder. And I'm realizing that as I have tried my best to just get away and live a healthy life, the shit they say about me, whew. But let them say shit, because if there's one thing that it does tell me is that I poked the bear. They cannot stand that I did not effing off myself. I did not get killed by that guy trying to kill me. I did not give in to their ways, and it irks them. I don't care. Okay, wasting enough time. Anyway, part 2 is I got married. I had to. It was the only way to leave the effing house without having the cops on me all the effing time. Granted, looking back, I guess I could have been the 18-year-old run away, not get married, and literally be on the run from my parents, which I should have, because what ended up happening instead was I wasted another like 4 years with a violent criminal and had been on the run from him ever since. I don't even know where to start with the story of once I said I do. I feel like I need an entire Netflix Docu Series just on what happened once I said I do. Look up textbook narcissist, textbook psychopath, textbook domestic violence, and everything by the textbook is what this man was doing and what I went through. Throw in a little crime, throw in a little SA, throw in some pimping, throw in some little pizzazz, make a little spoof, juice it up a little more. We're getting closer. Said I do, and that man switched from whatever Prince Charming love bombing dude he was pretending to be to a cold man I could not recognize. In fact, his eyes glossed over in pure darkness, black. They just turned black. It's called shark eyes. Even look it up. I could not recognize this man. Immediately quit his job so that I would drain all my savings for us and then take all of my paychecks. Encouraged me to leave my home in the state of Florida and join him in Illinois, where we would start over and he would get a job and everything would be great. Started over and he got his job and everything was not great. He controlled all the income. Of course, he said he could go get a job, but every time I went to try to get a job, he had something to say about it. And if I had something to say about his job or the cheating that I found out was occurring, ooh, I learned real quick that this man had no regards for my life. In the first couple of weeks of being completely without anyone, no one, in a new home in his sister's apartment, 5 grown adults living in a 2-bedroom apartment with a newborn baby, he put his hand in the back of my head and just shoved my face straight into the wall. Why? Because I said that this is not what I signed up for and I'm gonna leave. Oh, poor little guy. Immediately from holding my face into the wall, he then grabbed me, knocked me sideways down the hall, threw me down a flight of stairs. As I lay on the floor, shocked, bruised, not even sure what to do, dazed, I heard him and his brother laughing, just pointing and laughing at how funny I looked while I laid there. No income, no job, just a brand new state. I didn't even know what direction was east. I didn't know what to do. There might be a cousin out there that'll say, oh, she wanted it because I offered her to stay with me and she didn't want to stay with me. Yeah, that cousin was jacking up all sorts of drugs, pregnant, and also in an issue with her cheating man, and I was not going to move to yet another new state out in Arizona, but fuck nowhere, with her issues to be her stay-at-home babysitter. Not to mention her man was an effing creep, and I'm pretty sure he would try something with me. I was loyal, I was loving, trying to cook, pack lunches, things like that, whatever a good doting wife is supposed to do. It did not matter. This man was just not the man's. These girls done pissed me off. Like literally almost ran me over, pushed me into a bush. Like they can't even take a step to the left. Anyway, back and forth. He threatened to kill me, threatened to kill my cat, and all sorts of things if I try to actually leave. So I got a job, started working. Obviously, that didn't go well. He accused me of just being a whore and a slut and cheating on him anytime I left the house, trying to convince me to leave my job. And if I didn't want to leave my job, then he told me to pretty much the same crap as my father. Well, then you're not allowed home. Blah, blah, blah. So I was just like living in my van a few times. We try to leave. Oh, you gotta make it work, come back. We try to leave. Oh, you have to make it work, come back. Made a deal with some guy to live in an apartment. And I should have been where I launched my life forward from there at the ripe age of like 22. But instead, I let my dear old dad convince me that he loved me and wanted to take care of me. Not even take care of me, just wanted to help me get away from the dude. And I believed him. So he flew over, packed up my van, we drove down to Florida, and while driving to Florida, while just barely crossing the state line, he told me that everything that he was telling me to convince me to go there was a lie. Everything. I was asking so many questions. I was like, are you freaking sure like this ain't a trap? Of course they would say fucking no. And then as we crossed state lines, yep, he tells me that it was an effing trap. And he says that like I'm not even welcome to stay in the house. So you took me from an apartment that I had, a job, in a different state, trying to get away from one dude, trying to get away from you. Made me lose my job, lose my apartment, to then be homeless in Florida. Yep, that's exactly what he wanted. Going through savings, trying to get a different place, getting crappy jobs, desperate. There's my husband reaching out to me, how he's so sorry, he wants to help. He wants to come back and be a man. Again, textbook. And I fell for it. He came back. I was like, what the fuck do I do? He came back, and then the shit, he got more worse. It got real worse. That's when all the hospital trips, the concussions, the stitches, got the scars. You see my juicy scar? Any stitches there? Got lots of scars. Christmas Eve, I told him, I said, bro, like, you really think like you gonna like convince me of your lies anymore? I see right through you. Ooh, that pissed him off. He was trying his best to get me to react, and I already knew. I was already learning his cycles. I already knew what he was going to do before he did it. So I was not reacting because I knew the reactions what he wanted. So while not reacting, he got more aggressive, more violent, started beating on me harder. So I ran into the bathroom, locked myself up in the bathroom to stay safe, where he then called the cops on me and told them that I was trying to kill myself in the bathroom. So they came, broke down the door, and hauled me out to a loony bin Christmas Eve. When I told them my situation, of course they didn't believe me. I'm the crazy person in the loony bin. Why would they believe me? Told them how my man was beating the crap out of me. They would say, what, the man that called us? The man that loves you? If he didn't love you, he wouldn't call us. Triggered. Chaos, chaos. That's all I can say. There's so much. Like, each story is a 10-minute video. But yeah, you know, whatever. Did his best to control money. Did his best to control me. Did his best to try to pimp me out. Did his best, bro. So I did my best to survive. And I made a deal with the devil. Since I knew exactly all of his moves, his cycle, I knew everything he was going to do, I decided to play him. Considering I already had a couple attempts of leaving and I came back, I figured he would believe another attempt. Who's to say that I opened my eyes now? So I pretended I still loved him and I was falling for all of his lies, and if he could just help me get back to Chicago. And the dumb fuck fell for it, gave me the money, helped me get back to Chicago, thinking, oh, I'm getting my little toy again. I then desperately worked like 2 to 3 jobs. I would come out at Taco Bell at like 2 in the morning, go to West Humboldt, Chicago at 2 in the morning with all the crime in the middle of COVID. Saved, I lied, and I saved until I was able to get a place. I had 2 weeks until I moved into my new place, and that's when Rosie Gold was born. That's when I was like really pushing content, domestic violence awareness and things like that on the internet, because I figured if he was gonna kill me, I wasn't gonna make it. At least they know who. Or I figured maybe it would prevent me from being killed. And that's what happened. He got a phone call from one of his buddies telling him not to do it. She's already talking on the internet. It, as in, because that was the plan. Man, did he explode, and I had to couch hop for the next 2 weeks and live on the run and out of a bag. And he stalked me relentlessly for 2 years after that, trying to go back on letting me live. Because he had almost before, by strangling me, let me go though. And when I gained consciousness and vision, he said, you're only alive because I allowed it. And he was trying his best to take away the life he claimed he gave me. That is a sugar-coated quick version of the life of part 2. It's hard to give all the details because 1, TikTok will not allow it. 2, I need an entire docu series. I've officially been free for 4 years.